week we're looking at Cathedral, the story of its construction by David Macaulay. Kendall's here. Sadie isn't here, but we have her work to include in this discussion.
And Kayla's here.
Samantha's here.
Adali's here.
So David Macaulay is an award-winning author and illustrator whose books have sold millions of copies in the United States alone, and his work has been translated into a dozen languages. He has won numerous awards, including the Boston Globe Horn Book Award, the Christopher Award, and the American Institute of Architecture Medal, and the Washington Post Children's Book Guild Nonfiction Award. He is a British-born American illustrator and writer. His illustrations have been featured in nonfiction books combining text and illustrations, explaining design and engineering, and he has written a number of children's fiction books. The New York Times once said, "Macaulay sees the world with a writer's grace, but with an engineer's clarity." Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, and for the summary, I have the reason for the construction of the cathedral was to include people's desire to give thanks to God in His kindness and ask Him for His mercy. It talks about how the crops are like nourished and flourished, and it made the businesses really good. And there were so many different factors that led to the new construction of the cathedral. It was also the longest yet widest and nicest cathedral in France. Since there was existing damages, it took a lot longer than they wanted to, but overall, it turned out to be really beautiful, and everybody wanted it to be nicer because of the business that was coming in around it. For the summary.
Should I do the themes now?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So Sadie stated about the theme. In Cathedral, the story of its construction, the theme relates to the method in which the Cathedral was constructed. David Macaulay explores and details the processes of all that went into the creation of the building. The individuals who helped contribute to the making of it are also identified by name. Construction and technique are discussed in detail. Also, the construction materials used for different components are thoroughly analyzed. The drawings present the tasks that were accomplished and also illustrate the finished result. And that is what Sadie had to say.
Okay, so I think the book does a good job explaining not just how the cathedrals were built, but why, the reasons behind it. So I think it makes it easier to understand the process of building it. And then there's like pages where it has just like the tools that they used, and it has like the names under it, making it easy to understand the tools they used back then. The images also help us visualize what we're reading. And yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, so going off of like what Sadie had mentioned about like the different construction elements and like the different styles of the cathedrals, I thought that like once a student for a class has read this book, they could create like their own cathedral in groups. So like the teacher would give them a different style of a cathedral, whether it be like the Romanesque or Gothic or another one. Those are the only two I can think of at the moment. But they would put like their own spin on it and make it so it could withstand like a bunch of other cathedrals are to this day. So that's what I had to say.
All right, sounds good. All right.